Another player is entering the 2024 Republican primary. It's former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, who will be running against Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, and Vivek Ramaswamy. He announced this when speaking to Jonathan Karl from ABC. Not exactly making huge headlines, understandably, but let's take a listen.
When I spoke to you earlier this year, you said you were thinking about running for president. Have you made a decision? Are you running?
I have made a decision, and my decision is I'm going to run for president of the United States.
Wow.
While the formal announcement will be later in April in Bentonville, I wanted to make
that'll be a real party
clear that to you, Jonathan, I am going to be running. And the reason, as I've traveled the country for 6 months, I hear people talk about the leadership of our country, and I'm convinced that people want leaders that appeal to the best of America and not simply appeal to our worst instincts.
I always find it funny when they say they've traveled the country, and I know it's sort of like you have to do it and you have to say it, but do you really need to travel the country to figure out a lot of these things? It's always a weird thing to hear.
And that inspires me when I see everyday Americans just saying, give us good leadership, give us common sense, consistent conservatism, and optimism about our great country.
Yeah.
And that inspires me, and I believe I can be that kind of leader for the people of America.
All right. So he has absolutely no shot, but it is interesting to see more people enter. If I were a betting man, and I'm not, my guess is Asa Hutchinson doesn't even make it past the first Republican primary. Now, that being said, more candidates generally does seem to be better for Donald Trump. The more people there are running the Republican primary, what we see in the polling is that it helps Trump versus DeSantis. We have some new-ish polls. I'm trying to look at ones that are actually sort of like well rated. There's a Trafalgar Group poll, which is a right-leaning poll. It's a multi-way poll. It has Trump over DeSantis by 34, with Liz Cheney, who doesn't seem to have any plan to run, at 10%. Then we have an Insider Advantage poll. That's a B-rated poll. Trump over DeSantis by 33. And then we have a B-plus rated YouGov poll. In this poll, Trump does better with more candidates. This isn't surprising. This is what we've seen. When it is just Trump versus DeSantis, Trump leads by 26. And when it is Trump versus a whole bunch of people, Trump leads by 31. And we could go further, but this is sort of where we are right now. So interesting. That Asa Hutchinson is running. I truly wonder, when people like this run, are they sitting in a room where someone is telling them you've got a shot at winning? Because they obviously don't. Or is it that they're sitting in a room and advisors say, you don't have a shot, but this might raise your public profile. You might get yourself on a debate stage and then you can parlay that into being a contributor to Fox News or something. Like, what is actually in their minds when they decide to run? What do they think versus what is the reality of what can come from it? And what is the basis on which they're making these decisions? It's an interesting thing. We now have a four-way race in the Republican primary with one of those four candidates under indictment, and we're going to very closely follow the direction that this goes.